Calc students. Last unit, unit 5 of the first semester, when we were uh, dealing with implicit equations, and then we talked about bringing time into the situation and figuring out how situations are changing at a moment in time. We have been taking derivatives of y with respect to x to get how y is changing at a moment when x is changing. This is the equivalent to tangent slope. This is why we always say, like, if a slope is 3, that y is increasing 3 y's per x. Cool. If we had something other than y, like y squared, well, because of the chain rule, we would need the derivative of like y squared, the outside, times the derivative of y and how y is changing. So just remembering stuff like that. And then once we switched it to how things are changing at a moment in time, we're finding the change at moments in time. We would have really the same deal, it would just be dy dt. Now this means something else. This means how y is changing at a moment in time. So maybe like if you're talking about moving up or down, a y distance increasing or decreasing, versus this dy dx means slope, like y's per x is a slope situation. So if you don't pick that up, if you don't understand that, it's fine, as long as you can do it, but it does help to understand and know what you're doing. Things to remember is just all of our rules, the product rule, distributing negatives, leaving out a constant if you want to, the derivative of x times y plus the derivative of y times x. Don't forget dy dx after all y's. What is dy dx on x is 1? I'm going to go ahead and plug x1 here because we get y squared plus 2y plus 1 equals 0, which is y plus 1 squared equals 0. So y is negative 1. Now, know that you can solve this for dy dx, or since you know x is 1, y is negative 1, you could plug in 1 and negative 1 in here. It's up to you, like plugging in early or plugging in late. I'm going to go ahead and plug in later. I'm going to solve for dy dx. Plug in later. Going to factor it out from the 2x and the 2y. Probably should just divide everything by 2, to be honest. Subtract the 6x, subtract the 2y. Oof, that's dy dx. I should have divided everything by 2. Now we're going to plug in 1, negative 1. So we got negative 6 plus 2 over 2 minus 2. It's not defined. It's undefined. It's negative 4 over 0. Area of a square, the area in square units of a circle, of an expanding circle, is increasing twice as fast as its radius in linear units. Okay, when the area of a circle is changing at twice the rate as the radius is changing, what is the radius? So I'm going to probably start with a equals pi r squared. Many of you probably are looking for a formula. You have a formula thing for the AP test, but like you should know the area of a circle. But if you ever need it, you can look it up. If you ever need it, just ask me too for the midterm. Okay, so I got dA dt equals 2r dr dt. I got dr dt times 2 is dA dt. I'm going to go ahead and replace dA dt with 2 dr dt times 2r dr dt. The dr dt's cancel. The twos cancel, gives you r is 1. Cool. If I take the derivative of this with respect to x, I get cos x equals e to the y times dy dx, which means dy dx is cos x over e to the y. Oh, I'm sorry for this, guys. I'm sorry. Because you're like, what the hell? I don't see that anywhere. It's like might be tricky, tough. Sorry, you haven't seen this yet. Sorry. Don't expect this on the midterm. E to the y is sine x. So that becomes cotangent. Who would have thought? Yeah. The slopes of sine x equals e to the y are cotangent values. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's move on. I have to take the derivative of tangent using the chain rule, tangent xy. I get secant squared, and I get the slopes of x times y plus the slopes of y times x. So I get secant squared xy times y plus dy dx x equals 1. Dy dx, I'm going to divide by secant xy and subtract 1 and subtract y. And I don't think that's going to be what I'm looking for. I probably need to distribute. Going to. So I'm going to get dy dx equals this 1 minus this divided by this. Hmm. Okay. This is correct. But I don't see my answer anyways. You're not going to see this on your midterm. This is a little bit unnecessary. I'm going to divide by secant squared xy to start. Now, I'm going to do this because of the answers that I see. Woo! Um, because I notice that there's these answers with cosine squared, and it's like that's a little indication. Excuse me. Reciprocal of secant squared is cosine squared. Boom. And then I'm going to subtract the y and divide by x. And I think I got my answer right there. Cosine squared xy minus y over x. Many of you probably did that. You're like, what took them so long? Many of you are like, oh, this is hard. Because it is. Here, this one's a good one because you have to take the derivative with respect to x, which means you get dy dx equals. Then the right side, you got to O and I it with a log and then x squared plus y squared. So log is 1 over x squared plus y squared is 2x plus 2y dy dx. So we got 1 over x squared plus y squared times, and it can go on the top, 2x plus 2y dy dx. This is one of those examples where it's like, I don't want to solve this for dy dx, so I'm just going to plug in values. So I'm going to plug in 1 and 1, or 1 and 0, giving me 1 times 2 plus 2 dy dx. And that's easier because I'm going to subtract 2 dy dx. I'll get negative 1 dy dx equals 2. Dy dx is shoot, what did I do wrong here? Oh, this is 0. Because y is 0. So this is 0. So it gives me 2. Look at that. Sometimes, man, plugging in the point earlier on, super helpful. Careful if there's a minus sign, make sure you distribute the negative. Most of you are ready for that. I got derivative of x times y plus the derivative of y times x plus the derivative of the y cubed. Don't forget the derivative of the right side and the equals. Subtract the 2x, subtract the y, divide out the dy dx. You get x plus 3y squared, and you have minus 2x minus y. And you divide to solve. You ready to maybe pull out a negative? If I pulled out a negative, this would be a positive, and this would be a positive. Okay. The volume of coma is that if the radius and the height both increase at a constant rate of a half of a centimeter per second, what rate is the volume increasing when the height is 9 and the radius is 6? I feel like I asked this very same question. Yo, you got to use the product rule. So let's leave the 1/3 pi out in front. Let's take the derivative of r squared. So I got 2r dr dt. We're talking about time, seconds, centimeters per second, blank t d dt, product rule, dh dt. Cool. And now we're plugging r is 6, h is 9, and then the d blank dt's are a half. 1/3 pi. R is 6. dr dt is a half. H is 9. dh dt is a half. R is 6. Got 1/3 pi. 6 times 9 is 54. Half of 36 is 18. 54 plus 18 is 72. 72 divided by 3. 24. Looking at these. Oh, lots of product rules. Slopes of the first times the second plus the slopes of the second. Back to just ddx to get dy dx. We're getting y prime, so dy dx. Y prime means a lot, actually. It's like just means the change. But anyways, dy dx. 2y dy dx times x plus, bring the 2 out, slopes of x times y plus the slopes of y times x equals 0. I am literally going to plug in 1, 2 now. 4 plus 4 dy dx plus 2 times, well, I've got to distribute anyway. So it's 2 times y. So that's 2 times 2, which is 4 plus 1 more dy dx. And I'll have 5 dy dx's. I'll have 8. So dy dx is going to be minus 8 over 5. And I probably plugged something in wrong. Slopes of x times y squared plus the slopes of, oh my gosh. What am I doing? Oh, plus the slopes of y squared times x. Okay, plus, bring the 2 out. You got the slopes of x times y plus the slopes of y times x equals 0. 1 is x, 2 is y. 1 is x, 2 is y, 4. 2 is y, 4. 1 is x. 2y dy dx xy. Uh, dy dx times x times 2. Gosh, this is stupid. Sorry, I'm not stupid. Just like this is what happens when you don't show the steps of distribution and you like skip steps. You make mistakes. Like there you go. I just made a mistake because I'm not being attentive and I'm not showing all the work. I'm like skipping a step. You kids skip way too many steps for your ability. I skip steps and I still get things wrong. And I've been doing this for 13 years, you know? Okay. Plus 2 times 1, which is 4 dy dx, plus 4 plus 2 dy dx equals 0. So I have 6 dy dx. I'll have negative 8 over 6. That's what I thought I wrote, which is negative 4 thirds. Divide the top by 2. The area of a circular region is increasing at 96 pi square meters per second. So that's going to be talking about the circular region's area. Pi r squared is the area of a circle. When the area is 64 square meters, how fast is the radius increasing? All right, so we need the change formula for area of a circle. dA dt equals 2 pi r dr dt. Cool. We're also told that the area is 64 pi, which gives you that r's got to be 8. I bet you a lot of people could have figured out that r is 8. So dA dt is 96 pi, r is 8. dr dt can be found 96 divided by 16, which I don't know what it is. The pi's cancel. Let's probably guess 6. Slopes of x. Leave the 2 out. I'm all about leaving stuff out now, honestly. I used to bake in, now I'm leaving out. Slopes of x times y plus slopes of y times x minus slopes of y squared. If you bake in, great. I bake in too. I can't decide because now you have to distribute. So it's like, when do you want to do the work? So I have 2 times y plus dy dx times 1 times 2. So that's 2 minus 2 dy dx equals 0. This is non-existent because the dy dx's go away. If you solve for dy dx, you'd have minus 1 minus 2y over 2x minus 2y. And then you would have plugged in 1, 1, get a denominator that's equal to 0. Oh, man, these are a lot. It's brutal out here. 2y dy dx minus 2 slopes of x times y plus the slopes of y times x equals 0. 2y dy dx minus 2y plus a negative 2 x dy dx because I distribute the negative 2. dy dx equals 2y over 2y minus 2x because I factored out the dy dx. Added the 2y. I'm going to divide everything by a 2. And I have y over y minus x. Okay, that's another one. 3x squared plus 3. I'm baking in now. The distribution's annoying. So 3x times y. So I got the slopes of 3x times y plus the slopes of y times 3x. Now I don't have to worry about distributing. I changed my mind. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Divide everything by 3. Gosh, I got to pay attention to this stuff. Divide everything by 3 either now or later because you're going to have to. Subtract y squared, subtract y. Probably going to be pulling out a negative out there. Factor out the dy dx. Probably pull out a negative and make that a positive and a positive. Then divide by the x plus 2y squared. Negative x squared plus y over x plus 2y squared. Yay! 25-foot ladder. Hooray! We got the ladder problem. Yeah, you guys are ready for this ladder problem, I think. The ladder problem is key to know that the ladder is not changing its length. It's sliding down, means the y distance is changing by negative 3 feet per minute when the top of the ladder is 7 feet to the ground. How is the x distance changing? What the hell is this? What is this triangle? A squared plus 7 squared is 25 squared. I don't know. What the heck is 25 squared? 625? This stinks. Why don't I get a calculator out? Yeah, 625. So I need 625 minus 49. $24? Like, you know it. 24 squared is great. Yeah, listen, that's excessive. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. What's the situation we have? It's a right triangle. It's the Pythagorean theorem. Here's the Pythagorean theorem. Great. And if things are changing, here's the change equation of the Pythagorean theorem at moments in time. So it's a relationship between how long the lengths are and how the lengths are changing. We divide everything by 2, and here's the change equation. 24 dx dt is what I'm trying to find. 7 times negative 3, 0. Negative positive 21 over 24. It should be positive because it's increasing. This x distance is increasing. It's not about going left or right. It's just x distance is increasing. And divide by 3, and you get 7/8. 7/8. 7/8. Oh, look, they got negatives and positives. Yeah, the x distance is increasing. That's not nice. Usually they don't do that. Okay, circle. The rate of change of the area is equal to the rate of change of the circumference. What is the radius of the circle at this moment? Cool. So the area of a circle is this. The circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. This is relating one to the other. I feel like the radius is going to be 1. Let's see. Here's the rate of change of the area. This is the change equation for area. This is the change equation for a circumference. dA dt equals dc dt. So since dA dt equals dc dt, we can set this equal to this. So we get 2 pi r dr dt equals 2 pi dr dt. So like everything cancels, which means r is 1. Okay, last page. Oh, cool. DDT. Change equation for xy equals 10. dx dty plus dy dtx equals 0. dx dt, I don't know, when x is 2 and y is 5, because if x is 2, y has to be 5. dy dt 3, 2, 0 dx dt equals negative 6/5. This is literally unit 4. Whatever. I thought I did this problem. Oh, it's not. Never mind. It's got x's and y's. What the hell am I doing this with this question in here? This is random. Okay, it's an O and an I. The O is ln. The I is xy. So I got 1 over xy, slopes of the first times the second, plus the slopes of the second times the first. I'm going to multiply by xy. I'm going to divide, subtract y, divide by x. But I don't want to do that. I'm literally just going to plug in 1. If I plug in 1 for x, I get log y equals 1. So that means y has to equal e. So I have, no, it's probably easier if I solve. So I got y plus dy dx, x equals xy, multiplied both sides by xy. And then subtract y, dy dx, x equals xy minus y. And then divide by x. And now I plug in 1e. Are you freaking kidding me? So lame. I don't know why this question is here. If you're approximation a location of a 0, you are approximating an x coordinate when the y is 0. So this is when you plug in 0. And you'd get -2 equals 5x. Yeah, why don't we just divide by 5? Why don't we do this? Why don't we not distribute 5 times x minus 3, plugging in 0 for that. So that I got -2/5 equals x minus 3. I'm going to add 3, which is 15/5. 15, 14, 13/5. 13/5, which is 26/10, which is 2.6. Cool. Second derivative. Don't forget about second derivatives. We got 2x plus 2y dy dx equals 0, which means after dividing by 2, subtracting x and dividing by y, I get dy dx. Now it's important to know that dy dx at 4, 3 is -4/3. So we got that, which we are going to use, because when we take the derivative of this derivative, and I use the quotient rule, going to have a dy dx in it. I have the slopes of the top times the bottom minus the slopes of the bottom times the top, all over bottom squared. And I have negative y minus dy dx times negative x over y squared, sucks, minus 3 minus 16/3 over 9, minus 9/3 minus 16/3 over 9, minus 25/3 over 9. So minus 25/27. Oh, good. Thanks for giving me positive and negative 25/27. It's not nice. Concave down. That makes sense if this is the equation of a circle. X squared plus y squared equals 25. It's a circle radius 5. 4, 3 is in the first quadrant, which is where our circle is curving downward. So that's it. All right. Theta is increasing at a constant rate of 3 radians per minute. At what rate is x increasing? But x is a y. Sorry. I'm really sorry. I feel like I've made too many videos this semester. But x is a y. Oh gosh. Oh man. I feel like I need to use sine theta. Y over d. Are they telling me? Are they telling me that d is 5 always? I would think that as the angle is increasing, okay, that's what they're telling me. As the angle is increasing, that this length and this length would have to increase with it. Okay. Right? Okay. But it's almost like they're telling me that it's like a ladder problem where the y is going up, but the x is also coming down, which means the d is always 5. Horrible question. It's just a horrible question. I want to say y over d, but I guess they're telling me that dt is 0. But like, screw you, question maker. It's not clear. You know the question maker. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sure you're a nice guy. Or girl. Or girl. Again, sorry. Sorry. It's Friday. It's raining. I was gonna say, I was telling my advisory, I'm gonna miss chapel next week. Really like chapel. Chapel is my fave. Just a nice time, get everybody together. Uh, cos theta is 4/5. D theta dt is 3. Dy dt is what we're trying to find. D is 5. We are thinking d dt is 0, but we're not sure. While d is 5. Cancel these. Multiply by 5. I get 12. Shh. Maybe. 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 Hey, that's it. Mr. Messner. 2K24. Peace out. I'll see you in 2025. Ugh. Old. I'm old. You know what we realized in one of the calculus classes? That my YouTube account and my YouTube videos, since I've started posting, are older than you. That's how young you are and how old I am. My YouTube is older than you. Peace. Good luck.